Hello everyone, welcome to week 4. So before we start our week 4, I would like to review you a little bit of what we have already studied. So it's more like a review for 3 minutes. So I go very quickly. So there actually, we already have discussed about types of sentences, correct? So there are 4 types of sentences. So but we already been studying three types of sentences so far. So I will tell you what is another one. Okay, so number 1 we have already studied about simple sentences. So in simple sentence form, this is how we form the structures. We have subject, verb, object. Whereas everybody knows that, right? It's simple, like I eat ice cream. So it's simple as that, like I eat ice cream. Okay, so and part number 2 of sentence we just learn about compound sentence. So in compound sentence is involved with 2 type of punctuations we have said so far. So we use comma. So this is the first way of writing compound sentence. So we have subject. So like I eat ice cream. Then you put this. And then you put fanboy. You can put any fanboy. So I put but I don't eat chocolate. So and here you can use any fanboy so far of what you have learned from fanboy. Okay, and another way of writing another punctuations is that's what we call semicolon. So semicolon is a little bit easier than that. So semicolon was considered as the second full stop, but do we really write it all the way? Not really. So the sentence would be changed like this. In semicolon sentences, we don't use fanboy. It's like a 2 sentences connect to each other by using semicolon. But the difference between full stop and semicolon is once you put the full stop, it means it's stopped. I mean, it's not connected. It's like you try to end the sentence, but can we use more than one semicolon in the sentences? I don't really use that much. But again, as long as you use between the 2 sentences where the meanings and the connections are in the same line, it's aligned. So then you can use them for anyway. So I suppose to put here. So I eat ice cream. I don't eat chocolate. So you can just say I eat ice cream. I don't eat chocolate. So semicolon is the second way of writing the connection between one sentence to another sentence. So I hope you get to understand the differences between semicolon and comma. So next one is complex sentence, which I didn't explain you before. So in complex sentence, we have 2 types of, not 2 types, there are 2 ways to write in complex sentences. So number 1 is adverbs plus subject plus verb, and then we have something here plus comma. Okay, wait a bit. Plus. So this one they put adverb subject verb object, and adverb subject verb object comma, then subject verb object like this. After I study English, I will study German. So the form is, this one is called adverbs. Another way of calling it is called subordinators or subordinative conjunctions. So there are many names that people have called this, but again, it's just the same person. It's just a different way of people calling it. But again, as long as you know what it is and how to use it correctly, then that's not really a problem for you all. Okay, So there are two ways of writing that also. So if you write it with the from subordinative conjunctions, you're supposed to put comma here. So this is how I put comma. But if you want to put I will study German, I will study German after I study English, there would be no comma because you bring the subordinative conjunctions over here. So I hope you understand it. If you put subordinative conjunctions on the front lines, we put comma, but if it doesn't, we put it at the back, and then we don't have to add commas in. So there are two ways of writing subordinative conjunctions, or we call it adverb clause. So there are lots of adverb clause. So you can just go and search on Google and see what it comes up with. So here there are all the adverbs of clause that has appeared so far. Let me bring that down first. Okay. So we have even if, only if, unless, in case. So all of this. So like as long as you study English, so it's become, there is another name of calling this one. So like this, we call it adverb clause. In the another names, which is a normal name that people call it, we call it dependent clause. Dependent clause is a clause that we cannot stand alone. I mean, when you say after I study English, it does not make sense unless you finish the sentence, right? So dependent clause is a clause that cannot stand by itself, and the independent clause is a clause that stay by themselves. So example, I eat ice cream. I don't need to explain because I say it very clearly. I eat ice cream, right? So okay, let's go to our week 4 level. So I'm gonna have it explain around three more minutes. We're gonna study in week 4. Okay, so they explain about cause and effect. So in week 4, you'll be studying about cause and effects essay. So which is not really different from what you have already studied in week 3 about compare and contrast. So compare and contrast, you already studied about writing the similarity and the differences. So you put it like in a 2 circle, and then you analyze where are the differences and where are the similarity, and then you compare it by putting your thesis statement to tell yourself, am I going to, convince people my ideas towards the topic, the comparison and contrast? So it's the same thing. So it's cause and effect. Cause and effects normally is taking place on products, on natural disasters, something like that. So we talk lots about cause and effects. Like example, the technologies. We talk about creams, like when people put creams on the skin, what it helps and what it does not help. So in cause and effects essay writing, there is no different. It's just the same form. It's just the way that you explain that make it different. So I will show you one sample of cause and effects. And effects. Let's see. Okay, let's go. Cause and effect essay. So they say here, cause and effect essay, look at the reason. So they mainly focus on the reasons or causes for something, discuss the result effects. So how they structures. So this is how they structures. So it's the same things like what we did. This one is introductions. This one is supporting sentence. So we call it transition sentences or paragraph. So what we do is we do the cause 1, cause 2, and This is effect 1, effect 2, but let me tell you, is it really interesting if you write like that? Example, remember we discussed on Zoom yesterday about if I write good things about man, all the good things about man, then I explain the bad things about man. Should that be good, or should I just write one good thing about man, one bad thing about man, or one good thing about man, one good things about women? So it depends on you as a writer. You read by yourself. You the first person who read your essay. So ask yourself: is it interesting? Is it really transitional? Is it connected? So there is this one, we call it block. Block is like, it's not connected to one another. It's really isolated from one another. But if you chain it together, it's like this. You raise up the problems. Example, you say example, if you raise a problem of too much of technology, and then what you need to do is you write the cause. Okay, so example, if here is the cause, so I would write like this, and then I have to write the effects of the cause as well. Example, they asked me to write about kids nowadays are using too much technology. So if this is the topic sentence, imagine if this is the topic sentence, using too much technology. Okay, so what I need to do is, now I know this is the cause. This is the cause that I write in my thesis statement. So what are the effects? So I have to explain, like example, just put we call it, okay, autisms. It can cause the kid to become autisms. Okay, so, and then I will explain in detail with the supporting sentence what do I mean by kids become autisms when they are using too much technology. So I would say like this: kids nowadays are using too much technology, and there is the backside of using too much technology. Number one, it can cause kids become autisms. What do I mean by autism? So this is how I write. Autism is like a kind of disease that cause kids not to really communicate well with the parents, and they like to stay silent, and they become too much emotional, and you just try to add on to your idea. That's called supporting paragraph. So what I would love you to do is like that. For the it's the same thing with compare and contrast. I would love you to put is like a thesis statements, or is a topic sentence, controlling idea, and then you put the cause. And probably people ask you to write example 3 courses, so it can be 1 courses. So you can write 2 courses more, like example, the communication between parents. And this just a words, right? Probably this is the words, but I want you to write into a topic sentence. So it should be it breakdowns the communication between kids and parents. Correct, right? So now my question for you is if this is his cause or effects. So I leave it to you all to make decision is if this is cause or effects. So if they say no, this is an effect, so then you're supposed to find then what is really the cause, number 2. So you will have to find out yourself. So example, you put that as a cause, and then you just say, okay, while kids are spending too much with mobile device, then they don't really have time with the parents. And parents normally did this. Every time their kid are crying, they will just pass them the mobile device in the case they thought that the kids will stop crying. So now you try to explain more detail. Then this one become your cause. and then you explain the facts. Okay, so come shots. This lesson is a little bit long. It's already 15 minutes, so I don't bother, but hope you understand what I'm saying over here. Okay, so I will see you in the next week's video. Okay, have a nice day, guys. Bye.